So as places to film cars go, this is one of the more stranger ones. The people in Toyota here in Ibiza told me there's this really scenic place that you can go and it's really, really quiet. And it is. It's so quiet, in fact. There's a naked guy over there swimming somewhere. And I'm going to have to try and not get him on camera today because YouTube will probably shut my channel down. So welcome to beautiful Ibiza and the beautiful new Toyota CHR, which it needs no introduction really, does it? It's the new CHR, you know, the one we've sold loads of in Ireland, the one that comes in a 1.8 and a 2-litre petrol options, 140 brake horsepower and 200 brake horsepower. Just realised as well, people who probably can't see that phone are looking at me going, who is he talking to? Anyway, let's go for a drive today because the last time I had this car on the channel, we were in Milan. We couldn't drive it. Today we can. I'll give you my driving impressions of this next generation of the CHR. It's kind of high, kind of crossovery, but is it any more practical than the last version for you and your family? Because it's definitely a 4-person family car. We'll take a look at the boot in just a second. Let me know as well, have you had a CHR and are you in the market for a new one? In the comments down below. Welcome to Nobby on Cars. There's 5 different models. We've got Sport and Sport Plus, right up to GR Edition. You can get bi-tone colours. These are all going to be more expensive extras. I think a lot of people in Ireland will just go for the one colour paint job, maybe a Sport Plus, something like that, sort of mid-40s, 43 or thereabouts. The boot is still, it's not the biggest boot in the world. Like, there's the figures there. And if you go for the 2-litre, if you go for the plug-in hybrid, it's going to be even more squeezed. I suppose one criticism of the CHR last time, it's not necessarily, from Toyota's perspective, it's not necessarily a family car. Because of the prices in Ireland, a lot of people bought it as a family car, and getting buggies and stuff in the back just wasn't always that straightforward. So bring your buggy to the showroom. This car will be in dealers around Ireland in the next week or so. So try it out. Bring your buggy with you, they won't mind. There's no spare tyre wheel underneath there as well. And I think we pointed this out before, but in case we haven't, the light bar across the back, it says Toyota CHR, which will be more evident at night time. But that's a nice touch. Boot spoiler as well. A lot of glass going on here. I can't change my mind since I first saw the car. It's still quite cramped in the back. Like, the seat is at my position, about 5'10". I've a bit of knee room. I mean, well, not really, but you know what I mean? Like, you can sit up straight and there's a little bit of room there. Head height is good though. You've got this panoramic glass roof going on. There's one USB-C charging port in the back. Generous Toyota, no armrest. The shoulders here are still quite high and it's quite a small window. And kids like to see out, but there is space for their drinks bottles. The passenger seat has a door, has a pocket on the back of it, but this one doesn't. So if you can get the glass roof, it doesn't open, but it will give you a lot of light. And looking outwards, it's not a bad view. It's a wide windscreen. The seat shoulders though are quite high as well, so just test that out. Sigh of relief, they don't have the Prius and BZ4 X multiplied squared steering wheel. It's a nice steering wheel. It's actually very Lexus-like. It's quite chunky. You'll straight away notice an infrared sensor here to keep you an eye on you as the driver, paying attention. A lot of beeps if you go over speed limits. Just, yeah, it does. It's not the worst. This screen comes on every time as well. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's certainly the speed limit. If you go 1 kilometer over, it will beep. And then it will stop, but if you slow down and you go again, it'll do it all over again. Nice display though, sharp graphics, very Toyota-like. Nothing in the CHR is going to surprise you. You know? It's very much evolution, not even anyway thinking of revolution. Now there's a bit of ambient lighting depending on changing colours version, depending on what model you go for. They've still kept all the physical buttons, beautiful. There's an air recirculation feature on it that's automatic, and basically if it detects smoke, it's like a smoke sensor. If it detects stinking diesel fumes and your family are in this car, it will automatically recirculate the air and shut off the front. Now, I don't know what happens to the air that's come in, because that will presumably have a little bit of smoke in it. Video streamed, camera, depending on what one you get, you can obviously just flick that open. It's a standard mirror. parking assist, it'll park for you. Depending, again, these are all model dependent. Good camera on board. There's so much going on there. Like there's like a fisheye lens overview of the car going on. Very good. CarPlay and Android wireless, so don't mess around with cables. Charging plate down here. Isn't that seat? It's just so therapeutic, isn't it? Just listen to that all day long. These seats are very comfortable. If you go for the GR model, you'll get a GR inscription here, but there's not a huge amount else in the difference. So the cloth seats is standard. It's vegan leather. Feels very good though, in fairness. Controls here, they're fairly straightforward. Like this, it's just settings, nothing too fancy. If you don't like complicated menus, I think you'll like this. And if you go for the upgraded screen, it looks really well. There's still a lot of angles from the last CHR making its way in, kind of curves, a little bit of Alcantara going on here. Voice control, radar cruise, automatic headlights, opening your fuel cap, opening the boot. Everything is within easy reach of the driver. And a lot of car brands could learn a thing or two from Toyota because everything's within easy reach. Yes, it's black. Yes, it's Toyota-ish, but you know what? It's solid. You got a head-up display as well on this one, and depending on what spec you go for, again, I know I keep saying that, but it's true. JBL speakers on board on this car. Anyway, it's not the first time you've seen around the car on my channel, so let's take it for a spin and see what this new version of the CHR is like to drive. And by the way, if you'd like to support us, you can hit up buymeacoffee.com/Nobby on cars. There's not just that, there's Patreon. I've started a new Patreon tier where it's like €2 a month to support the channel. We are fully independent, on our own steam. It's just me. I do it all. If you want to support us, there's loads of ways in the links in the description down below. The big question for me is, Toyota have no doubt spec'd this car really, really well from the get-go. There's significant energy savings in terms of the paint process now, particularly in the bi-tone colours. CarPlay as standard wirelessly is a welcome addition. You're going to have to spend €43,000 though to get the spec you want, the larger screen, bit more spec, and the top range price CHR, well over €50,000. That's a lot to swallow. This was a car that when it launched a mere 8-ish years ago, could be bought for under €30,000 for the entry level. Inflation and many other things have increased since then, obviously, but I just wonder, is this now quite an expensive car for the size? I'm going to test out the sat-nav, go back to my hotel.
Will start now.
Excellent. And is it easy to use? Well, it kind of is actually, because so I can mute the voice guidance so it's not driving us mad in this video. But there you go, it's done. So I like that. A lot of the Toyota entertainment, infotainment, instruments, fairly easy to use, fairly self-explanatory, and you can do it while you're driving, which is not ideal in these days of touchscreens, but there you go. So you might be able to subtly hear. Jesus, she wasn't slowing down for anybody, including the footpath. I thought France was bad. So, there you go. Now I am doing 31 in a 30 zone, which is, shame on me, but I'm just doing it to emphasize the point. So you've got adaptive cruise control, that takes care of business for you as you'd expect it to do. Toyota claim about 4.8, rising to 4.9 litres per 100 kilometers if you get larger wheels. Remember, you can get up to 20 inches. It's a very well behaved car, it's composed, certainly at lower speeds. Push on a little bit and get into a bend, and there is a little bit of body roll, but it's not the type of car that you are going to be really pushing it into bends on, or else you're going to have kids screaming at you, asking what's wrong. And that's never good. That's never good. But it's a nice driving position. If you like that higher up seated position, if you're buying a car that is a little bit easier to get in and out of, I think you'll be happy. It's high enough, but not overly high. There's going to be an obstacle course to get in and out of at the same time. Nice driving position. You're seated reasonably high, not ridiculously high, but obviously you've got adjustability on that seat should you wish. Steering is nice and light. Again, geared towards city centre environments, just where things need to be just that little bit easier to manoeuvre around. And again, it does it with ease. The odd pothole here and there. It's a little bit firm. Oh. Now let's see how good the CHR is at off-road capabilities. Wow. Yeah, it's climbing. It's climbing, baby. Let's not get it stuck. There's actually enough ground clearance in this car as well, to be fair, to get you out of a dust track. Wow. Bet you Matt Watson isn't bringing this car on this road. Right. We're home and dry. I think in many ways, if you've driven a CHR before, this is going to feel very, very familiar to you. If you haven't, there's a little bit of nip there, nippy enough engine because of the hybrid powertrain. I wish I could shut that thing up because it's just very, very intrusive, particularly if you're going to be in stop-start traffic and all that kind of stuff. What a beautiful evening. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's as you were with the new CHR, and I've no doubt that many of you watching this will just be looking for CHR Mark II, because the last one did exactly what it said in the tin for you, and I don't think this one is going to be any different. This has been one of the weirdest and strangest experiences of my life. This is the new CHR. It is a total case of it's not broke, so we're not fixing it, lads. As I said earlier on in the video, don't be expecting any major surprises. Does it look a little bit sharper now? Perhaps. Bitone colour makes it a bit more interesting, although some people will love that, some people will hate it, I'd imagine. The interior is kind of still business as usual. Not much has changed. It's a bit more connected, maybe slightly sharper to drive. Still available 1.8 and 2 litre. Senor. Irish people will lap this car up though, because, well, if anything like the last model is to go by, then you'll love it, right? So just go ahead and buy it. If you've had one of these before, you're getting what you're used to in a kind of revised version. And for those of you who've yet to experience a CHR, it is worth a look around, but it's kind of thereabouts in all the other family stroke crossovers that you can get on the market right now. This one's just maybe a little bit better built, a little bit of a better warranty. In fairness to them, the self-charging hybrid battery part of the car, it's unlimited for 15 years. Now, it's worth delving into the terms and conditions of that. Is that 70% state of charge in the battery and all that stuff? It's only a small battery though, so you should be good. Anyway, what do you think of the car? Thank you for coming on the journey today here in beautiful Ibiza. Naked man is still over there. I'm going home. Good luck. Thanks for watching.